Hey, everybody, welcome to Hangin' and Sangin'. I'm Kelly McCartney from the Bluegrass Situation. With me today at Hillbilly Central, Sunny Sweeney.
Hi.
Finally getting
I know.
Sweenered.
How are you?
I'm so excited. I'm great.
Good.
Well,
This is Jake Clayton.
that's Jake Clayton.
He's going to play dobro.
He's going to play dobro with us. With you.
With you, too. Aren't you playing with me?
Oh, I'll play something with you. We'll figure that out. Congratulations on your new record trophy.
Thank you.
How's that going for you?
It's great. I
pretty
honestly, everybody always says, I'm so proud of my new record.
Yeah.
It's the record I've always needed to make. This literally is the record I've always needed to make.
Right.
And there's not one song that I questioned. Because every other record I've made, I put it out, and then I'm like, gosh, maybe I wish I would have done this instead of that.
Right.
I don't have one of those moments on this record. And the instrumentation and the production and everything, all the song choices, everything honestly was so, in my opinion, exactly what I wanted.
Right.
And the way that we made the record was exactly the way I wanted. We did it backwards. I did it with Dave Brainerd.
Mm-hmm.
And so you start with an acoustic track and then you build everything on top of it. So Jake plays like 177 instruments.
Cool.
And I'm really kind of not exaggerating, but him and Dave and I went into the studio and we would pick out, we narrowed down the songs and then we picked out which ones we were going to do. And then we just basically, us three, made kind of very elaborate work tapes.
Right.
And Jake would play everything and then Dave would play guitar and or mandolin and I just would sing and then we would live with it for a little bit. And then the great thing about it is you don't even add like lead instruments really until way later.
Right.
And then you don't even add bass and drums till way later. So you can change the whole arrangement of the song up until bass and drums are added ultimately, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome.
Right.
It's really cool. I'm very excited about how it was made. And I don't ever really want to make another record otherwise, I don't think.
All right.
Yeah.
So your last record, Provoked, from 2014, do you feel like that one was a bit of a creative breakthrough and kind of showed you what you were capable of, and now this one let you show the world what you were capable of?
Yeah, I mean, so basically I've kind of, I took a quote that Loretta Lynn said a long time ago, and I apply it to a bunch of different situations in my life. She's like, I didn't know that I couldn't succeed, so I did.
Right.
So, like, in any situation, like, if you, like, I didn't, when I first made a record in, like, 2005, I didn't know I still don't know what the hell I'm doing. I really didn't know what the hell I was doing in 2005. And so I just made this record and then argued with the people about pressing them, and they said I needed 1,000, and I was like, I don't need 1,000. I'll never sell. I don't even know 1,000 people. And so then I argued with them, and I ordered 1,000, and I needed more, like, very soon. And so it kind of was like I just kind of threw it to the wall, see if it would stick.
Yeah.
And then people started coming to my shows that weren't my mom and dad, you know, and so that was cool. And then a major record label found that record, they re-released it, and then I kind of hung out there for 6 years and put out a record in 2011, which was a bunch of people, all of us deciding. I still had say in it, but I was we all had to kind of collectively decide on what was going to be recorded and how and with whom.
Right.
And it was great, and I loved all of the choices at the time for what it was.
Right.
But then Provoked came, and I'm working with 30 Tigers, who I am obsessed with. I mean, I'm obsessed with David Macias. I just think he's a freaking genius, and he's so cool and wants the artist to be the artist.
Yeah.
So anyway, so they didn't come to the studio. Then they're not the artist. They don't go to the studio. You know, like the artist and the producer and the musicians go to the studio. And so that was really cool, being able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked a lot of the songs because I'd been writing a bunch of those songs for years. And then they finally like found a home on Provoked.
Yeah.
But then this record kind of was like, you know what? I'm just going to like go ahead and kind of just put whatever I want on this record.
Yeah. Because that one it was a little bit more brash and defiant. And then this one,
it's a lot more introspective, I guess.
It's a lot more introspective, kind of more soulful in a way.
I mean, if you have to pick out like like a title or what's it called, like a description, like a descriptive word, I would say introspective, only because there are songs on there and subject matter on there that I do not and would not have ever talked about until now.
Right.
But I've gotten really comfortable with some of the people that I've co-written with over the last couple years, and frankly, it's easier for me to write. That's one reason I like writing with the same people over and over.
Right.
It's because I become friends with them, and it's more like you're just hanging out and writing a song with your friend instead of, planning to be creative at 10 a.m. and hope that it works.
Right. You can certainly be more vulnerable.
Yeah.
Which you are on this record.
And a lot of times it's at night, and it's not at 10 in the morning or 11 in the morning, and I've written some great songs at 11 in the morning, but I also like wine. And
I was going to say, if Lori McKenna's involved, I think there's probably a little wine.
I mean, I love wine. I do. I mean, just a side note, last night I played this gig in Dallas, and this is total side note, has nothing to do with what we're talking about except wine, but it is hilarious. So there's all these stagehands backstage, and I said, they go, do you need anything? And I said, the only thing I need is a glass of ice, and my friend Jamie needs a glass of ice so that we can drink our wine. And they're like, okay. They go get us ice and the huge glasses of ice, and then all of a sudden we realized there's no way to open the wine.
Uh-oh.
In the whole place, like no wine opener, no nothing. One of the stagehands goes and gets a DeWalt screwdriver, electric, with a big long screw, screws it down in there.
Just stuffs the cork down or not?
No, he was going to pull it out, but it ended up not working. But anyway, it was kind of a moment where I was like, you're pathetic. You need to not want wine that bad, but to have to get a DeWalt screwdriver.
Or maybe just get yourself a Swiss Army knife.
Or maybe just get a screw top bottle of wine.
Well, boxes. There are lots of options here.
I love a box wine.
You need to change your rider. That's what I think it is.
Please, white just Chardonnay with like a screw top, and then I'll be good, and some ice.
Good to go. So speaking of the people you wrote with for this record, you wrote with a lot of women. Mm-hmm. What did they bring to the writing that men couldn't, and what did you learn from that process?
Well, so the women thing, I never even noticed until we were writing the bio.
Right.
Like where they're like, oh my gosh, all of these songs except one is written with women. It's like, huh, I had no idea. I think what it boils down to is that I've made some really... I never had a lot of girlfriends growing up. I had like 3, because I have 3 sisters. So I don't need girlfriends.
Right.
I have them built in with my sisters. But as an adult, I've made some really amazing women friends that truly want you to succeed. And you want them to succeed. And it's just like another sibling for me.
Right.
And I think that those girls that I just coincidentally was writing with are some of those girls that I just feel really close to, and I feel like they're easy to just hang out with. And then the easy hang is all I want to do in my life is hang. Like, I want to just hang out.
You are in the right place today.
I know. Like, if I could just hang out every day.
Yeah.
And, like,
and sang a little, maybe.
Hang and sang, then I would be totally happy for the rest of my life. So,
with you.
I don't want any stress. I've already got stress. We all have stress. So, if people could just, like, chill and hang out, and, like, Heather Morgan, she's one of the girls I wrote with. We've only recently become friends, but she became one of my very close friends very quickly because we just hang out. Like, there is no anything weird, just hang.
Yeah.
So, and, Caitlin Smith, so cool. Lori McKenna, so cool. Brennan Lee's been one of my best friends since my first gig, actually, is when I met her. Mm-hmm. Like 2004.
Right. There's something, I keep having conversations with female artists, and we're talking about sort of their female icons. And one of the themes that keeps coming up is fearlessness. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of starting to become clear that perhaps fearlessness is a prerequisite for women in music, if not just in life.
Yeah.
And I feel like this record for you, and Provoked to a certain extent as well, like there's a fearlessness in that, in your writing and the songs that you're putting out there.
Well, thank you. I feel like there are a lot of people, and then I don't think this, I'm just basing this on what other people have told me, but I think there are some people, and people have said this to me, so I'm not saying this, I'm saying what other people have said. other people have come up and said, I typically hate women singers, you know, because it's just like about fluffy stuff and nothing I can relate to, and it's not real life. And, you know, I really like you, but I don't like women singers. And I'm like, thanks, question mark? Like, how do you even, are you telling me that you like me? Or are you telling me that you don't? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And which women's, all the women I listen to are
so this is what
deep.
I said. So this is my response to them. I said, well, out of all the records that I've bought, and especially in the last 2 years, and I just started popping off names, because I'm like, these are the records that I actually paid for.
Right.
They're friends of mine. I probably could have got them and just, hey, can you burn me a copy? Or, you know, because I'm a musician and poor, and like, can you just, I just want to buy it because I want to support those people.
Yeah.
Some of these songs are incredible, and it's not because I'm a woman.
Right.
It's because they are badass songs.
Yeah.
You know, like, and
no matter who wrote or recorded them.
And a lot, you could have a guy singing the same song.
Right.
And it's just like that Elizabeth Cook song, sometimes it takes balls to be a woman. You got to just like, honestly, just say what you need to say. And then I feel like if it's truthful and it's something you can relate to, then it's easy to portray to people.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the songs probably that captures that best on this record is Bottle by My Bed, which could be, if somebody's looking for fluff, they could think that's a different kind of bottle. That
right, totally.
They're just going on the title.
Totally.
And I've told you this before. It reminds me of Shelley Wright's Picket Fences song, of this sort of, I know, like this ideal that, you know, you have in your head, or what you thought you wanted, or what you thought you would have by now. Mm-hmm. And obviously, in hindsight, Picket Fences is very different now that we hear when we listen to it, knowing where Shelley is in her life. I know that.
And where she was probably when it came out.
Certainly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, how hard was it to record and release that song? And how do you think, how is it feeling now with a little bit of hindsight? And
So this is a couple part answer, because that was one I wrote with Lori. Yeah. I had tried to write it with, I would say, a handful of other people. I'd mentioned the title and the first line to a handful of other people. And nobody really, like, they either were like, yeah, we'll go back to it, or they just didn't, like, jump on it. And when I have an idea that I really want to write, I want somebody to really want to write it with me. And so...
especially something like that song.
Right. And so with her, she has 5 kids. And so I thought, why would I even introduce this idea? Because she doesn't know what it's like to want a kid. Like,
right.
Truthfully, she has no idea. She's had kids
since she was like 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I almost didn't say it. And I'm so grateful that I changed my mind, because as it turns out, and looking at it in hindsight, she not only has 5 children, but she knows the love of a child, which is actually what I want. It's not necessarily the being pregnant and the, you know, gaining weight and your body changing and all. That's not it at all. Right. I'm not a fan of that idea, you know, necessarily, but I would do it in a heartbeat. But I'm just saying, like, if I had to just choose, you know. So, but anyway, the love of a child is all I want. And so all my friends have babies. I mean, every single one of them, all my sisters and my brother have babies. Right. All my cousins have babies. All of my male friends have babies. Like, all of my friends have children. And there's, today in the Dallas airport, I think you had to be pregnant to even be able to get in there. And so somehow they let me in. Because it was like everywhere I turn, there's pregnant people. And that's probably because my mind is always there.
Right. You're just noticing it more.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we wrote it, and then I went to my hotel room. And I honestly sat down at the desk in the hotel room and took a big sigh of relief and was like, damn, that felt so good. Okay, bye. Put that under the rug. Never look at it again. That's honestly what I thought.
Right.
And I just looked at it like, oh,
just
it's
like
therapeutic.
You just needed to get it out.
Yep, and I did, and it felt great.
Yeah.
And so then maybe like a couple months later, I was looking through my iTunes library just to do some songs at a songwriter night that I hadn't done before. I was like, ooh, I don't know. Maybe I could do that one. It might be weird. I don't know. Maybe I'll talk myself into it. Did it. And this girl came up to me afterwards, pregnant as all get out. And she's like, I just wanted to let you know. And at first I'm like rolling my eyes at her, being like, don't even cut. This is why I didn't want to do it. Like, I was judging. I was judging her. And She walked up and goes, I just wanted to let you know, this was not easy. Pointed at her stomach. Mm-hmm. She's like, this has taken me 9 years. Had like 8 miscarriages. We had 2 adoptions fall through. Like all of this terrible, terrible stuff.
Right.
And then she's due like Tuesday. Like this was on a Friday and like she's due the following Tuesday. So I took that as a sign and I was like, you know what? She gave me a different viewpoint on that than I'd ever had before. Maybe I'll try it again. So I've been doing all the, I've been doing it. Obviously, then I thought, well, maybe I'll put this in the pile to possibly record.
Right.
Then I chickened out, and then I didn't chicken out, and then I did chicken out. And then I got pregnant on accident, which I didn't try to do. Then I had a miscarriage and had to do the final vocals. Nobody in the studio with me knew that at the time. I had to go back and do the final vocals, and it sucked. Yeah. I mean, it was the worst thing I've ever had to do. But anyway, so then this past weekend, we did an acoustic opening slot for Garth Brooks in Lubbock. And this woman came up to me last week, and this, if nothing else, the answer that she gave me is the reason that I recorded the song. She came up to me, and she was in, like, major tears. And she said, I have 3 kids. And I wanted to go, good for you. She goes, I have 3 kids. And I was like, oh, okay. And she put her hand out. Like, she wanted me to hold her hand. So I was holding her hand, and she goes, I was so pissed at them when I left today. They're like 6, 4, and 2. Right. She's like, I just want to, like, strangle them. Like, I just was so over it.
Yeah.
And she was just angry. She was angry that she was angry at her kids.
Right.
And she goes, and honestly, your song, even though I've got the kids and you don't, the like agony that you have wanting what I have that I'm not even grateful for.
Right.
I honestly like lost my mind. I was like about to just start bawling because it was very eye opening, but it was also like so sad for her. 'Cause I would never want to make somebody feel sad, but she felt so sad that something, but whatever, it made her feel like she should be grateful for her children, which she should.
Yes.
No matter what they do or act like or how much of a hellion they might be or might not be.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
it's serving a lot of purposes.
It's weird because it's all different, and it's guys and women, and it's all different people, and grandparents that don't have kids, or somebody that had a kid and it died when it was 1, or like all these different stories. It's so cool.
Right.
So anyway, so I'm really glad that we did end up doing it in answer to your question. Yeah.
Awesome.
Huh.
You want to do it now?
Sure. You want to do that one, Jake?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Jake.
Jake Clayton, everybody, on the old dobro.
On the old dobro. Followed by my bed, Sonny Sweeney from Trophy.
All my friends are raising babies, I'm still raising Cain. They must think because I've waited that I don't want the same. Their days are spent changing diapers. They think my
beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
So now we're at the enlightening round, wherein I'm going to ask you questions that kind of turn your song titles inside out.
And I'm supposed to answer you however I feel like answering you.
Exactly.
Okay, you asked for it.
I did. What's something that's wrong with Texas?
Nothing.
I was born in Houston, so I can say there are a few things
I
wrong
would say
with
the
Texas.
heat. It's hot as hell there.
Yes, that's true.
So in the winter, in the summer, the winter is perfect because it's like 60.
It's summer.
Yeah.
It's what summer's supposed to be.
Yeah, but the summer is actually brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal. Like, I feel like I'm eating air out of an oven. It's terrible.
If staying's worse than leaving, what's worse than staying?
Oh, God.
See how this goes?
Okay. If staying's worse than leaving, what's worse than staying?
Don't help her, Jake.
Hot wine.
Wine with no corkscrew.
Yeah.
What's the best four-handed compliment you've gotten?
You've known me long enough. Help me with these answers.
She told me I couldn't help you with the answers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm the boss around here.
Oh!
I'm just kidding. Four-handed compliment. Shoot, something just happened last night. Somebody said something to me last night, and I kind of looked at my friend and was like, because you don't even know if they were complimenting you or not.
Well, that's kind of a backhanded compliment.
Yeah, but it was,
though.
but what she said, I can't remember what she said. Something about my hair color, I know that. I just don't remember what it was. I don't know.
All right. What heals you as opposed to wrecking you? Say.
Okay. Honestly, time at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my dog. I have a new dog.
Oh,
I'm obsessed with him.
love dogs.
His name is Doug.
We'll have to talk about that. Are you still in the Heartbreakers Hall of Fame?
According to one person, but not the others.
Okay. That's fair. And why don't people change?
I think kind of like once you hit a certain age, you're kind of, that's what I try to tell my younger, like, friends and younger cousins and stuff. Like, my cousin specifically had this boyfriend, and I was like, why are you with him? He's 35 years old, you know? She's like 27. 35 years old, that isn't going to work for you. He's stuck in his ways, you know? So I feel like once people hit a certain age, they just kind of don't change.
Well, that's sad. They still could. That whole thing about you can't teach old dog new trick, that's not true. It's not true. It's a myth. Okay, last one, and watch this perfect setup. What's the worst bad idea you've ever had?
Oh my God, somebody asked me that too the other day, and I don't know that I found an answer because I don't regret anything that I've ever done. So
Yeah, I don't think there needs to be regret involved.
well, but if it would be really a bad idea, then I would probably think like, I guess what I'm saying is all the ideas I have, even if they're terrible, I'm still like, woohoo! Yeah, that was fun.
Well, I guess we could go back to the drill in the wine bottle. I was
Exactly. Like that could have ended very poorly. It
Yeah.
could have ended with the cork inside of the wine.
Yeah.
And then having to get a coffee strainer and like pour it in there and drain it through a cup. I've had to do all that before.
Such is your dedication.
Yeah, I mean, like, I really could just solve all these problems by getting screw top wine.
Screw top wine.
From here on out.
I have a friend who lives in Santa Fe who used to make me promise that when it was her time to go, I would take her down to White Sands with a package of string cheese and a bottle of screw top wine and just leave her.
That's a real friend.
I have a feeling, I would do that for you too. So
Yeah, well,
if
thank
you
you.
need, if you need me,
Me and
to.
my friend Joanna have a pack like that too. So
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, well, let's do better bad idea.
okay.
See how I tied that all together? That's professional.
I do.
right there.
I love how you tied it all together.
Thank you. And I named the show just for you, by the way, the Hangin' and Sangin' thing. I mean, because
obviously.
it's your dream.
I mean, obviously. I mean, it's a miracle that we haven't met until now.
I know. And I don't have any kids, so now you can say you have one friend with no kids. I'm here for you.
Two.
Two.
You two.
She left you out the first round, Joe.
Mostly because I consider him my little brother.
Okay.
And when I say friends, I mean, he knows he's my friend, but.
And I'm behind her. She can't see me.
That's
I forgot. And let's be honest, he's back there. So I wasn't like looking at him and be like, hey,
Right.
Jake. Oh, yeah, Jake doesn't have kids either.
All right. Better bad idea, Sonny Sweeney.
We wrote this at 7:30 in the morning with two of my friends, Buddy Owens and Galen Griffin.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Let's wash our dirty minds with a bottle of white wine. Do some things that we can't take back. Cross every single line. Get higher than a kite. Baby, what do you say to that? In the corner of this black heart, a full deck of wild cards. Tell me, are you scared to make a bet? Are you in or are you out with all the sins I'm thinking about? Do you have a better bad idea? You always play it safe, no need to be afraid. I won't bite unless you want me to. No pain, no gain, that's what the people say. I don't believe that I believe that's true. In the corner of this black heart, a full deck of wild cards. Tell me, are you scared to make a bet? Are you in or are you out with all the sins I'm thinking about? Do you have a better bad idea? Let me in on your better plan. You've got one, baby, I'm all in. In the corner of this black heart, a full deck of wild cards. Tell me, are you scared to make a bet? Are you in or are you out with all the sins I'm thinking about? Do you have a better bad idea? Or do you have a better bad idea? Or do you have a better bad idea?
I love that song.
Thank you.
It's a great song.
Thank you.
Kicks butt.
Thank
on
you.
I had to watch myself there. Kicks butt on the record. Congratulations. It's a great record. I
Thank
hope it
you.
goes really well for you.
Thank you so much.
And then our girl Angelina's record's coming out
It's like next week, right?
the 21st, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah. So
Man, it's good too. I mean, I'm sure
So
you've heard
good,
it.
yeah.
I died when I heard
There-
it.
I-
mean, I didn't really die because I'm sitting here, but like
right.
I
Metaphorically.
metaphorically died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Early on, I think it's like late January, I just was like, it's a banner year for women in roots music. I mean,
Amen.
all of probably 9 out of my top 10 records right now are women.
Ditto.
So
I mean it.
Do it.
That's some good music right now.
doing it to it.
Yes.
Thank you for being here so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Jake, you
Yes,
as
ma'am.
well. You as well.
Jake, thanks for coming.
Yes.
Always. Yes.
Appreciate it. We're taking next week off, Easter weekend. Happy Easter. Back on the 21st with Johnny Swim. And
Oh, that'll be cool.
yeah, I love those guys.
They're so good.
They're so good. And lots of great folks coming after that. Got Rodney Crowell coming in May. I'm a little
Cool.
bit excited about that.
That's
You
awesome.
can come hang out with us.
Oh,
Since it's your show. Hang with us.
oh yeah. My namesake.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Over and out from Hillbilly Central.